Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined by Josh Bowe. We're coming to you. It's Friday night, December 5th, about 11:15. Dallas Mavericks just had their asses beaten by the Oklahoma City Thunder, 132 to 111. And let me tell you, that final score is not indicative of the absolute belt-to-ass game that this was for the Dallas Mavericks. If you came into this game with a little bit of a high because of a 3-game win streak, don't blame you one bit. Fun win streak. There's the measuring stick for you, though.
Yep. They were due. They had
that's a good way to.
They were due for a bad game.
Yeah.
They haven't lost by double digits in about a month. No. That's not. They lost to the Lakers, but they haven't lost they haven't been blown out in a month.
Yeah.
Even that Lakers game, they lost by double digits. It was a clutch game. It just got away from them. So, they were due. And the Thunder are the best team in the NBA by a mile. They're 22-2 now. They haven't lost at home. 22-1. Sorry, not 22-2. I mean, they're an incredible team. They're on pace for having one of the greatest regular seasons in NBA history. The fact that the Mavericks actually were tied after the first quarter and kind of competitive this was a competitive game up until the midpoint of the second quarter.
There's about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It went from being 6 to 8 to 15 like that. And
yeah,
the first quarter was kind of fun because the Mavericks were doing they're gonna get killed, and then all of a sudden they're right there, and it must have happened 4 times in the quarter. I thought their defense against SGA in the first quarter was pretty fun. They were throwing, it wasn't a hard double, but they would wait for him to choose the side of the floor, and then they would send a second guy at him. Then they would ball reverse, and the Mavericks defense was pretty active in that first quarter. They had the forced 4 Thunder turnovers, which I know you're probably rolling your eyes at that, but the Thunder averaged 13 a game, so 4 1/4. It is significant. D'Lo finishes with a Hail Mary 3 that made me laugh out loud, and it's okay, we're just going to have one of these games. And the second quarter comes around, and the Thunder, who are the better team, kept throwing the heavier punches, and they were landing more and more. And then at about I usually have the game cap up, and I'm kind of going through the play-by-play, just reminding myself, but I don't have it right now. All of a sudden it's real bad. And it's real bad because the Mavericks purported superstar did not show up to play. And I'm not talking about Cooper Flag. I'm talking about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had, following what I considered, in all earnestness, to be the most impactful game he's had in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, which he did against which he had against the Heat on Wednesday night, with this performance tonight, which was, I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed. I was mad. Now I'm just I mean, if you guys would have caught me at the end of halftime when he's 0 for 6 and just throwing shit up, I was grossed out by Anthony Davis. They made him the focal point of the early offense. And why? The ball went, and you know what? He had 6 assists. Awful. He was awful. And on defense he was okay, but on the Thunder good. But on offense, it's can we stop acting like this guy's the engine?
Yeah, they doubled him a lot, and rightly so. He's the type of player that you double. He's a good, he's still a good enough passer. Like you said, he had 6 assists, 2 turnovers. Considering how much he got doubled, that's not bad. But they packed the paint on him. I mean, he only made 1 basket, and it was a layup at the end of the game. But he shot 3 mid-range shots. He shot 2 shots. He had 4 attempts in the restricted area. And that's how many minutes did he play tonight? He played 24 minutes. So to only get 4 shots at the rim for Davis in 24 minutes is not good.
He didn't want it from the opening tip. He did not want the physicality this game required. He took a fadeaway jumper, and not only was it a fadeaway, it was front rim fadeaway. And I don't want to sound like a sports psychologist because I don't know what I'm talking about in that regard, but if you've ever played basketball, sometimes you just see it. Your teammates don't have it. He didn't want it. Cooper Flag attacks the rim with such ferocity, and watching those two play together tonight, it was such a contrast in styles, whereas against the Heat, Davis was attacking more. And I just can't stand to watch him when he's like this. And he's like this more than he's not. And that's kind of the overarching problem I have with the Anthony Davis experience.
Yeah, I mean, to sum up his game, he had one shot attempt in the first quarter, and it was a mid-range jumper that he missed. Like, that kind of sums up what he was
against
doing.
The best team in the league, when the Mavericks, if he and Cooper are ostensibly the offensive engines that get everything else going, he can't afford to sputter. He just can't.
No, I mean, when you're the best player, you get praised when the team is winning, which he did during that 3-game win streak, which he played great. He had that awesome game against Jokic. Get your flowers. And then when you have a bad game, you also have to take that responsibility because you're the best player in the team and you're getting paid $54 million. We did the same thing with Luka when Luka had his bad games. Famously so at this point, people still don't let us people still let us hear it about that part. But yeah, he was no good and bad. And then the Mavericks weren't, I don't think the team was particularly prepared for trying to get him going in the right way. The Thunder played, I think, without Isaiah Hartenstein, who was hurt. The broadcast mentioned this. It was almost like the Mavericks were not prepared for them to start big Jalen Williams next to Chet Holmgren. Uh-huh. It was almost like the Mavericks came into this game knowing Hartenstein was going to play, thinking they were going to start like their smaller lineup, which they usually do when they don't have one of the Hartenstein available. And Jalen Williams bothered him, and then they had Chet kind of hovering. So there was no room for him to do like his isolation face-up game because even if he could get past Williams, Chet was right there. So they discouraged him there, but the Mavericks didn't I didn't see a ton of he posted up a lot. I didn't see a ton of on-ball screens. And to be fair, OKC they're just so good defensively. I don't know if it would have mattered, but I would have liked to see Davis on the move a bit more, and it felt like he was posting up, isolating a lot in this game.
Well,
and then that just invited the Thunder's doubles in even easier and made him pass it out.
Tell me if this makes sense. So when he gets doubled, because he's very right-hand dominant, again, this part is not really a criticism. This is just sort of something that happens over the course of his game. He dribbles, like he basically pulls it out. And he only is looking over his left shoulder, because he has a ball in his right hand and he's basically looking like this. Every time doubles there, he doesn't have the kind of rip through face up game where he can then attack. He gets doubled and his response is fuck, and then tries to move the ball, which fine. But if that's going to happen over and over again, then stop posting him up.
Yeah, they kind of played into what the Thunder were trying to do, which I didn't see him change it up enough until it was too late.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is what he said. Like, he's a play finisher, not a play starter. And that's what you're gonna have games like this from him. When you don't have elite playmaking at the time, and as good as Ryan Nembhard has been, and he was solid enough for what he's been doing. Made shots again tonight. Najee Marshall's okay. They don't have a true Nembhard's their best point guard, which just says a lot about the team, and that playmaking can come and go a little bit. You can't put all that on Nembhard. Yep. He's a two-way rookie. So with that playmaking gap and that vacuum, Davis kind of has to be. There's no room for error with Davis when he's playing with this version of the Mavericks, because there's no fallback for him in the way that in LA he had LeBron. To be the dominant number one option if he didn't have it. And he didn't have it tonight. And they, the fallback option was Cooper Flag, who was pretty good, but not good enough. And, Max Christie was good, but, not good enough. And
right. The margins, and they're not really margins because that doesn't do enough justice to how good Oklahoma City is.
Yeah. I mean, they're awesome.
their margins for error are so much broader than the Mavericks that as the game wore on, it then blew open. So, the Mavericks finished the first half down 15 within 4 minutes of the opening of the third quarter. It was a 30-point game, and it was over.
Yeah, Thunder, I think, are the best third quarter team in the league.
Yeah, it was absolutely, utterly over. And I kind of stopped paying attention.
And the Thunder were missing 2 starters?
3.
3
rotation guys. Caruso doesn't start, but like
2 starters and there's 6 man.
Yeah, and so they're down. As they're down 30 points, Anthony Davis goes knee to knee with Chet Holmgren in one of those instances and makes you hold your breath. He immediately comes out of the game, which is fine. Again, it's like they're down 29 or 31 points, something like that. Adam Ferris says this was a 50-point blowout without Jaden Hardy's 23 points, and he's not wrong. And then, to start the fourth quarter, Davis goes out there like a fucking Make-A-Wish kid, and they proceed. Crazy. We'll talk about them more after a break, but then they force feed him until he finally scores on his 9th field goal attempt. And then he comes out of the game, and then it just at that point, it's like the Mavericks didn't really have bench guys because they have 5 guys who are hurt right now. So if you assume their roster's roughly, 17 guys with the 2 with Cisse and Nembhard, they have 5 guys who are out tonight. Because PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford each missed this game. Something tells me one or both plays tomorrow night. And then the game was over, and now we're here. For an 8:30 p.m. start time, I actually was quite pleased with how the game moved. It's all right. Let's take a quick break because I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to because there just isn't. All right, we'll be right back. If I'm gonna insert the ads.
There's not much to talk about with this game, admittedly. Yeah.
Insert some ads and be right back. Thanks for listening. All right, we're back. I am going to host a group therapy tonight. If you have takes in this game, I would like to hear them. I don't actually expect anyone to join because this was just such a gross game that there's not much to talk about. Why did we put Anthony Davis back in the game? Why did that happen?
That was crazy. And it wasn't just him. It was everyone, but there was 4 starters.
Kid's done stuff like that before. He has. But it's like Anthony Davis cannot get hurt.
No, he
cannot
for a variety of reasons.
Bill Simmons had a 3.5-hour podcast he put up today, and him and his buddy Joe House were talking about the Mavs for a minute because they talking about Flag, and then he said, I really wouldn't trade Anthony Davis right now. I want he and Cooper Flag look like they have something, and I understand that take. I don't really agree with it because of what happened in that game, because every time Anthony Davis goes down, you're going to hold your breath. It's the nature of his game, even if he was locked into being a Maverick for the rest of time. I was incensed at Kid for this. Like, whether they did it to get him his points, which is what I feel like they did, which it's like, I would have much rather him finished 0 for 8 and then us wondering if his knee's okay. And instead, we had to see that. And I just...
was... Davis was on the floor. Cooper was on the floor. What if Cooper falls awkwardly and
Cooper's a little different because he's not made out of glass.
I know, but he's also kind of banged up, like
That's
shoulder,
true.
finger. I don't care if you're made of glass at all. It's just the principle of you're down 30 in the fourth quarter on the road to the best team in the league. You play tomorrow night.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? Like, and I get, part of it was Davis. Obviously part of it was Davis trying to get his points. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that they pulled everyone after he scored his bucket. And then part of it is probably like the weirdest. Okay. So the weirdest part is when they started, I was like, okay, the only explanation, Jaden Hardy was on such a heater. Maybe Kid was trying to see, all right, I'm going to give him one run here to see if they make this a game. They didn't. And he called a timeout with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I was like, okay.
Now
he wanted to give him one more chance. Now everyone's out because they couldn't close the gap. They came out of that timeout. Everyone was still in the game. I'm like, what? They're down like 29 points with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I was like, that's malpractice. That's malpractice.
Yeah. the game after
it's important that this team, we talked about it before. They don't quit. They play hard. I get that that's kind of like a culture identity that that kid, I think, is trying to instill.
Yep.
But there are limits. Like, let's just be within reason, man. Yeah. I mean, if Cooper Flagg sprains an ankle with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and the Mavericks are down 25, I mean, that's all we're talking about. That's right. The whole podcast is what we're talking about. It's just not. Is that worth it? Like, they still lost by 21 points. Like, it's bizarre. Like, they don't need to prove that they play harder than everyone else. They do. They play really hard. Like, you're okay. You can have one bad game. You can sit your guys in the fourth quarter. It's not a big deal. It's not an indictment on your culture or your organization. It happens. The Thunder might win 75 games this year. Like, right. It's just, it was just silly. It was just silly.
Yeah. And, we'll talk about a cut, like, not Cooper's best game. I thought
not terrible.
I thought he was pretty atrocious defensively.
Yeah, this was his worst defensive game, I think.
Like Jalen Williams,
the first month.
Yeah. Jalen Williams is an All-NBA player, so I don't want to act like this is nothing. But he got taken to the basket a few times.
Yes, he got really beat off the dribble. He got beat off the dribble a lot tonight, which he hasn't done.
Nope.
And then his off-ball defense was kind of non-existent. But that's also because the Thunder just don't give you those opportunities.
Yeah,
which is such a low turnover team.
Yep.
So yeah.
Ryan Nembhard came a little bit back down to earth, but he's still 14 of 20 from 3 since the Lakers game. He was still quite good, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 24 minutes.
They outshot the Thunder from 3 in this game.
Did they?
Really? Yes.
The Mavericks?
The Mavericks were 16 of 37 and the Thunder were 12 of 30.
Yeah.
And now 5 of those made threes were Jaden Hardy, when they're down 25, but still.
Yeah. I mean, Nembhard's like I've been talking to people and it's like, well, do you believe in Nembhard? And it's like, I don't disbelieve in Nembhard. That's not, Mark Stein said in a report, we need to actually aggregate this from Mavs Moneyball, that the Mavericks are going to sign him to a contract in January, like when they can. Now, to me, that means they're cutting somebody, probably
Dante
Exum. But they have to finagle all this cap stuff first. They can't, like, their cap, like, Nico just left them with such a giant turd in the punch bowl. They are so limited in what they can do, and they have to do things in a specific order. But Nembhard's going to end up on the team, and then they'll figure out what to do. Like, if they want him on the team next year, they will have to make cap moves. Like, there's just no other way around it. I don't disbelieve him or anything like that. It's very clear he is an NBA player. I don't think we have seen teams try to defend him yet. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't even think he makes the scouting report. Like, some of the stuff we're watching right now, he had his one turnover was, I think it was Kenrich Williams basically, like, decided to lock him up, and he's a big dude, and stopped him at half court, and he threw the ball over and turnover. So what happens when it's kind of the same thing that happened with Brandon Williams, where teams, after 20 games of data, it's like, Brandon Williams fast. That's all he's going to try to go fast. And so Nembhard, obviously his game's a lot more complicated than that. He's a heck of a floor general, but don't leave him wide open to shoot. And there's things they can do defensively, on Nembhard to sort of limit him. He's not going to be an offensive engine the way he's been in these past, like, the games before this Thunder one.
Yeah, and honestly, the biggest thing is just attacking him defensively.
Nobody does it. We've not seen it at all. He's so much smaller than everybody else on that end, and it's like the Thunder don't even need to do that, and that's just sort of the way it goes. But that's not really criticism. That's just like he's playing the role he's been given quite well. I'm glad the Mavericks have him. But if you're like, I think some of the thoughts are and
he showed up ready to play this game more than Davis did.
That's right.
Because he had a pretty good first quarter. He made a couple big shots, kept them in the game. I mean, he looked like he was more ready to play than their presumably best player.
Right now, where I'm looking at this roster is like, is anybody other than Cooper Flagg going to be on this team in 3 years? And, like, I can't answer that definitively yes about anyone. Sorry, that's just the way I am. It's not a criticism of any of these other players, including Max Christie, etc. Last thing, and I just briefly want to talk about, part of me is glad this game got out of hand because I don't like watching Shea Gilgeous-Alexander play basketball. Not because actually that's not fair.
You didn't want to have to watch him in the clutch.
I really
doing all
like
that stuff.
He had some offensive moves in this game, like basketball moves that were so good. He had a spin out of the left off the left wing, and he drives down in the paint and plants hard and does almost like a Dirk Nowitzki style fadeaway over two dudes that was just butter. It's a gorgeous shot. But this shit where he gets foul calls for nothing is awful to watch. I mean, he got continuation for one at the start of the second half. It wasn't a shot. He pushed, and then the second quarter, he pushed, he drove hard, jump stopped on the left elbow, pushes off Najee Marshall, jumps and kicks Najee in the nuts, and Najee gets a foul call. And I'm just like, what are we watching? Like, it is a push off. I'm tired of everybody. It's like, fine, everybody does it, but it's like, it's not a beautiful basketball move. It's a fucking push off. And he got like the refs reviewed one in the first quarter on Cooper where he fouled Cooper. He fouled Cooper twice in one possession. Twice.
That was crazy.
And they said the second one wasn't a foul. It was a fucking foul. It's like he ostensibly should have been out of the game with 4 fouls in the first half. Now, the Thunder didn't need him to win. They would have beat the Mavericks anyways. So, but I was just like that. I'm really glad we didn't have to really spend a lot of time on that. Cause like I after it became clear, I was like, all right, Thunder better. That's what matters. But that part of it was just, I was like, this is awful. Like, get it out of here. Oh well.
Yeah. I don't like it that much either. And I would rather. I thought the NBA had a good thing going in 2024 when they were like, hey, let's give defenders a chance to guard these guys, and let's tighten it up a little bit and relax how many whistles we're calling every game. And that lasted 6 months. And now
who was awesome.
Yeah,
I really liked watching Chet Holmgren. I have been a Chet skeptic, and I thought he was fascinating tonight.
Yeah, he was really good. He's so much more physical now than he was. The last time we really got to watch him was that 2024 playoff series where it felt like the Mavericks kind of manhandled him.
He was out of gas. Like he was flat out. He wasn't in good enough shape. And I don't know if we can even say anything about that tonight because it didn't matter. But he took it to Anthony Davis. He was not afraid whatsoever. And I just thought it was cool. I like being one of the things that is this probably makes me a terrible sports person for this, but it's like I like it when an early opinion that I have on someone is changed. And like I thought Chet was not it. He's so damn skinny, he is kind of ridiculous, and instead he's just quite good. Like that's all. He's just a good basketball player.
Yeah, his improvement from that playoff series against the Mavericks to now is just night and day, like very noticeable. He has leveled up his game in so many ways, both skill wise and just physically. He looks more comfortable physically now, which is it's his third season.
Yep.
I mean, he kind of had a redshirt year with the injury. Like, yeah, this is kind of when you start filling into your body and you get adapted to that kind of stuff.
Well, all right. We have a bunch of stuff up in Mavs Moneyball because the game finished kind of early. So the entire staff turned in all their stuff on time. So if you want to go read a little bit more about this game, or if I don't blame you if you want to be done with it. But if you want to hang out here, I'm going to host group therapy. You can click in. And if nobody joins, just because, look, we got kind of sparse attendance tonight, I don't blame anyone. I'll be back tomorrow night with one of our new staff members, Jack. And then... if the Mavericks play...
They'll play again until next Friday, right?
Is that right? Or do they play Monday? Let me look here. Sorry, this is really good podcasting. Yeah, okay, you're right. They don't play again until next Friday night, of which you will also be missing that one. That's really funny. Which, I don't know, like, I'm coming back on a plane, so, like, that one is... we're going to have to figure out that one. I might do something during the week I might see if I can get somebody on to talk Mavericks.
And is there a game? There might be a game that next week that's just not scheduled yet. It's like playing stuff. Like, aren't they going to play?
So they're going
to play someone who gets knocked out, but they can't schedule it yet, right?
I'm not sure. See, maybe you should text or Slack Chuck Cooperstein. He's good about this stuff.
Yeah, so he actually messaged me about that. So
the initial schedule had from December 6th to December 18th with no games, with understanding that something was going to get put in there. So we'll see. If something pops up, we'll definitely record if there's another game. But that's odd. The Mavericks honestly could use the break.
Absolutely.
Anthony Davis says he's playing tomorrow night against Houston, which I don't like. No, thank you, please. Like the Houston rebounds 40% of their own misses. Oh man, that one's not going to be a fun one to cover. Alas, here I am. So anybody, we'll throw on the group therapy here, see if anybody wants to hang out. You should go forth and enjoy whatever semblance of an evening you can get.
Yeah, with got the fever riddled toddler in the next room, so
that's right.
I'll go check on her and get my 2 hours of sleep tonight.
All right, talk to you. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. I am Kirk Henderson, editor over at MavsMoneyball.com. This is our secondary show. If you have any thoughts whatsoever about that game that you would like to share or anything in general, we know one of the pieces of news that Josh and I didn't get to just because I didn't want to be any more of a bummer, was that Derek Lively is seeking a second opinion on his foot. They still... Judging from a kind of I don't know if you'd call it an argument. Chuck Cooperstein, Mavs radio guy, and I were talking on Twitter, and his indication is that the Mavericks don't know why his foot is swelling. Same right foot that he had last year, where he had a stress fracture, but when the stress fracture occurred is actually a point of contention and possibly as to what led to the Mavs strength coach being fired, because he was out with like an ankle injury, and then he was supposed to come back, and the guy puts him through a really tough workout. And then the next day he has an MRI on his ankle, and there's a stress fracture in the area. And so, he ended up getting fired at the end of the season. The question that has kind of been floating around of like, did he have a stress fracture the whole time and the Mavericks misidentified it? Like, not great. So I'm sort of waiting to see if this is, he's just going to be out for the year. I mean, feet stuff is not like blood flow to feet is like the single most difficult element of a foot injury, because blood flow promotes healing. And if you have it's an extremity. So it's just difficult to deal with whenever there is an injury down there. So that was one of the things Josh and I didn't talk about. Doesn't really seem like we got anybody else coming in here though. Josh and I were talking about the schedule. They play, Houston tomorrow night. Then the schedule looks like they have a 6-day gap until they play the Brooklyn Nets on Friday the 12th. And then on Monday the 15th, they play the Utah Jazz. So, there's going to be basketball, but we kind of think there might be one more game put in there, but I'm still not sure. I don't know how any of this shit works. Kind of over it. Kill Cam wants to talk. Thank you, sir. So we'll let you come up here and hang out for a second. What's going on, dude?
Hey, man. To be honest, I turned that game off in the second half. I mean, after the first half, like
you missed
OKC's good. It's just so annoying. They get away with so many fouls, man. and it's so. And on the other side, it's so ticky tack that it's just so annoying to watch.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like,
I don't mind physical stuff. I actually prefer kind of a physical.
yeah, but
style
I just don't
ball.
like that it's so one way that they pretty much hack.
Yeah,
That's what I don't know if the defense is that good or is it they're just allowed to pretty much foul every play.
it's tough because
It was just like it was unbelievable.
it's
There was
like a
one play to where it was like Shea literally hacked Najee's arm and they called and they called the ball
the out of bounds.
I was like, are you kidding me? Like it was so clear that it was like it was a shooting foul on Shea. It's just and then what makes it annoying is that they complain about fouls a lot too, and it's like I don't understand that. I don't think they understand how privileged they are. But I don't want to sound like that fan, who that.
No, I know because when you get beat
Like
by
that,
30, yeah,
that like blames the refs, but it's just so frustrating.
it made that final 3 minutes very frustrating to watch because the Mavericks were also. I'm talking about in the first half after you said where it's like the Mavericks were also shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
and it's just like the two things together. It was not it. I'll put it to you like this: you made the wise choice to turn it off. Like this is games like tonight are ones where I wish I did something different with my time.
Yeah, man, but it was a good first quarter though.
It was
but then
fun.
The fouls just came up and up and up, and it was just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
like it's just so frustrating to watch, man, and it's hard to really appreciate the greatness of Shea because he is great, but it's just like he gets away with so much that it's just like, man, I'm done. I'm not watching this anymore.
Well, for every cool move, there's a
There's
foul.
one cheap foul, yeah,
and it's just
There's one
like
cheap
I don't
foul.
want to watch him go. Like he had 9 free throws in the first half, and I'm sitting there going that at least a third of these aren't calls.
Yeah, and then on the opposite end, they're playing football. And it's just like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
But also, even though I'm a pressure right now, my man. This is back-to-back games with Davion Mitchell and the OKC defense, and he's been good. Like I think he's a legit NBA player because back-to-back Davion Mitchell and his OKC defense and not horrible games, like pretty good games. Like that's extremely impressive.
For Ryan, are you talking? You're talking for Ryan Nemhard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back-to-back games, right? Davion Mitchell, in my opinion, an all.
Yeah, he's
NBA
very good
defense. Yeah, and this OKC defense where they can just play football and he's still had a good game. Like that's impressive, man.
Yeah.
Like, Coop, man. That thumb is really affecting him. I can really tell.
Did you see the first 3 he took tonight where it looked like a field goal going wide right?
Yeah, like his thumb is just like I do think his 3-point will get better as soon as his thumb heals. We just have to wait because he's not healthy with that thumb. Like we just have to wait on that. AD, this is exactly what I understand what the Lakers were complaining about with him. The Lakers fans, like these are the games where I can see why they complain so much, and I see why LeBron, even though he wanted to give the reins to AD, never did because it's just like
he just
in
doesn't
big
want
games
it,
like
man.
this.
Yeah,
big games But to be fair, though, he like especially on the one play, like Cooper missed him, he was wide open under the basket, and other times like that as well. But other times it's just like he just gets really lackadaisical on both the offensive and defensive end.
I think
like on defensive end, he was like no show as well. Like there was one play where he was just such a lazy closeout, and lucky like that guy missed, but man on closeout he's just so lazy, and it's like I don't understand how you want to play the forward when you're just so lazy, closing out on after the 3-point line, and it's like.
This was definitely one of these games where from the very beginning it looked like he didn't want to be out there.
Yeah, like to be fair, like these past 3 games, like I'm not gonna lie, I was on the kind of the fence. Was like maybe we can sit him this year and maybe get a high draft pick. But now after these games, like really, especially tomorrow's game, I'll definitely watch tomorrow's game to really see. But this game kind of also reaffirms that we have to trade him because he's just not that guy. He's not a number one option.
Well, and then I worry about him getting hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
he went. You if you didn't watch the second half, he had this knee-to-knee collision, which it was one of those where he went down like a tree falling, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And he's just the kind of guy that draws injuries like that.
Yeah.
Like he plays hard. Well, tonight he didn't play hard,
Yeah,
but he
didn't
normally plays hard.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I don't know.
It's just like tonight. I'll watch tomorrow, but tonight just reaffirmed that no, we need to trade him, man. Because I was on the fence these past 2 games, but tonight, like, no, he's just not. He's not reliable.
This is good. Andrew Nemhart saying in post game, he said I think this is a quote from Andrew Nemhart. I think we're a little too focused on getting Anthony Davis the ball, because Josh and I talked about this in our first show about how they did all these dang post ups for him, and it's a simple thing, but I think Anthony Davis, when he catches and faces up and goes downhill like towards the rim, he's just a lot scarier. When he faces up and likes and takes a little step back, see what he thinks he's got the space for the jumper. Yeah. He's got to understand that's the space is there because they want him to shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and also just like when you're not like a man, I think it's a new era with like, I don't really like having the main star being a big because you run into these type of problems to where you really can't get a functioning offense, a functioning modern NBA offense, because you have to throw in the post and then you have to like sit there, just like I like big man play, but it just seems like this rule set is now more geared towards guards and wings. So it's like
absolutely. So
it's just I just can't really think unless you're like Jokic, having like the big man be the big star because I mean. Look at Miami with Bam. Like they're going nowhere, and Bam's the best player. And the thing is, I like Bam, but having a big like that as your best player, and this NBA is just like, I don't know if it'll work.
The difficulty is too high because the game slows down in these playoff series, and for as much as people complain about heliocentric like Luka or James Harden ball, having a guy who can
get a bucket
that
is so important.
And it's like right now, who's the guy the Mavericks go to for a bucket?
Coop,
which
Coop and not Ryan.
Yes,
so a guard and a wing.
You're right, and it's like I still like Coop. I still sort of think of Coop as more of a big man than I do a wing, even though he is showing a lot of like wing skills.
Yeah.
But it's like asking him to be that guy for this team right now really tells you where the team is.
Yeah.
So
and Caleb Martin, I mean, like his thing is his defense is not that bad. It's just his offense is just like, like dog, what happened? Like what happened? Like he wasn't this bad, man. Like what? Like,
it's very funny.
I mean, he can't lay up, he can't drive, he can't throw. Like, it's just like, what are you doing, man? As soon as he saw him come in the first quarter, I was like, I got mad. Like, what are you doing? See, like, I feel like we kind of lost the game right there. But put him in the first quarter because even though we ended the first quarter tied, we may have could have gotten the lead if you put it someone else. But it's just. But with Nico's horrible roster management, who else do we have? Because PJ's out, so and Nigel was starting.
Yep.
And Clay was already in, so it's like he's all we got right now.
I know which lineup you're talking about. Like that was when the game effectively went to hell. It was just
it was in the first quarter, and we somehow came out tied. But it's like. We may have could have gotten a lead in the first quarter if someone else, but we have no one else because everyone else is hurt. It's just like this roster, like gosh, and which is so much. It's like this roster is right up on the cap too. So it's like, how is this roster this bad? And we're right up on the second apron. It's insane.
Yes, it is.
Like it is insane how bad this roster is, and we are right up on the second apron. Like I know, like if we were like a first even team, I wouldn't really mind that much. But it's like we can make 0 moves right now,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we got no second. I'm at the point to where I would literally just trade a second round pick just to get rid of him and Hardy. But we have no second round pick, so it's like we just stuck with those guys.
That's right. Oh man, sorry, I'm yawning like this.
No, you're good.
Tired.
You're good. I'm tired as well. Gosh.
Well, we got one more game, and then it looks like a few days off for NBA Cup action. So
yeah, I think the next game is like after Houston is like next Friday.
Yes, and it's 6 days, which is wild for me. So
yeah, I mean that's good though. Hopefully, Coop can like rest his
yes,
you know.
Yes, good take. That's
Yeah.
a silver lining for the break. I like that.
And maybe like PJ will like come back from his like ankle sprain.
Right. I mean, it must have been real bad because it's like I'm trying to think of the times in my life when I've hurt myself the worst. It's usually something that like I absolutely did not see. Like a friend of mine sent me pictures of when he walked into a glass door in a conference room. Like he just didn't see, and it's like he basically broke his nose because he wasn't prepared for the impact whatsoever. Like that's got to be what happened with PJ and this ball.
Yeah.
So
so hopefully we can get sort of healthy, get some guys back, man. But it's just like this roster is just so crazy, and we're just so. And people are trying to on Twitter and Win Street trying to give Nico credit where it's just like, just shut up, please, just shut up. Like this roster is so bad, and we have zero money.
Yeah,
he did a horrible job. Like I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
All right, man. We'll talk soon, okay? Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
All right, later. All right, MJ, what's up, brother?
I guess I'm a sicko too, huh? We're all sickos.
Yeah.
I mean, Gilgeous Alexander is just not watchable. I do not watch OKC against any team except the Mavs, because obviously I watched the Mavs game. But there's one play where he fucking ran over a fucking player. Fucking ran over a fucking offensive foul, scores it, no fucking call. And he just gets all the fucking calls. I mean, it is ludicrous. Like when you were saying that, I felt that well, if you hadn't done that, I probably would be calm. But then when you went on about that got me pissed about how many fucking calls that fucker gets every game. Now, he's okay, but I'm sorry. He's not that good. I mean, that push off that's a fucking push off. That he's getting advantage. I'm not getting his shit blocked because he would get his fucking shit blocked every time. He's not that big, you know. Yeah. And it really pisses me off. That's why I really can't watch him. And I mean, people have done. They show them and the Lakers. I call the Lakers the Los Angeles free throw shooters because they're fucking shooting free throws. Now it's a little bit different because they've got skill with Luka and some other guys there, but it's just like I don't know if you have you seen Angry Hoops or what's that guy?
Yes. Yeah,
Angry whatever. He's hilarious and he shows how they get how the Lakers get call after call. How OKC gets the call. And I mean, it makes me wonder if the NBA is rigged because they're 21-1, their record, well now 22-1. But you just have to wonder, like, they get so many freaking free throws.
Yep.
Every game. And, and he is an okay player. Luka is far better. Luka's a great player. Alexander makes some difficult shots, but that fucker gets half of his points from a free throw line.
Right.
So he could average 30 because he's been getting 15 fucking free throws. It's like fuck. I mean, whereas Luka earns it. Now Luka goes to the free throw line too, but not like that dude. And he's always done that.
Luka leads the league in free throws.
Yeah, but he's not.
But 12 and a half a game.
Well, but he's not Shea Alexander. At least, he gets fouled on stuff. And I know sometimes he flops and does stuff like that. But watching him is so different because he's got skill, he's got talent. This dude just pushes off, gets away with a push off, runs over people, kind of like LeBron. LeBron basically runs over, no foul, All these guys, they just run over players, but then he gets the call. If somebody breathes on him, he gets a fucking free throw.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then that coach, man, that coach, they say that he's very, they said on the broadcast that, he's very humble, but he looks like a fucking prick on the sideline.
I mean, hey,
you
win 21 games or now 22 games. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of poses and he's, has that snarky look that I wish somebody would fucking knock off his face. See, look at you. See, you got me because of Shea Alexander. You got me all, But I'll tell you what I go back to. I love, and I think I'd like to watch this every day, when the Mavs, when they beat OKC the year they went to the finals, when Luka and PJ, PJ basically, they said that Gilgeous Alexander was in PJ jail because PJ just covered him like a blanket. And they won that series, I think, in 6 games, and then the last play when the guy, I forget, there was a 3-point or 2-point shot, and there was some kind of controversial thing, and then it worked out for the Mavericks, and they won that game, and they went on to play Minnesota, and they beat Minnesota, they went on to the finals. Those were the good days, man. And it's like, Anthony Davis, man, it reminds me like when he was in LA, he had these great games and be like a top 75 player. And then the next game is like, where the fuck was he?
Right.
He doesn't even score double-digit points. It's like 6, 7, or he takes 2 or 3 shots, and it's just, oh my god, man! It's like all that stuff that I used to laugh at about the Lakers with him and LeBron. They called him street clothes, because he was always injured, and now we have to deal with that shit because of the retard fucking Nico and what he did to this team.
It's not. It's going to be a long way back.
Who do they play next?
They play the Rockets tomorrow. That's going to be another belt to ass game.
Oh God! Watch them win that.
Well, I mean, but that's why the Thunder. That's why the Nuggets game was so important in terms of a feel-good win, because like you look at the stretch of games, and Josh and I were talking before that game. They beat the Clippers. We're like, all right, the Clippers are the one team we're sure that they have a pretty good chance, and then they win the next 2. And so, why did they win those 2 games? Quite candidly, outlier shooting. I think you can credit Ryan Nembhard for getting the team better shots.
Oh yeah,
but they still like there's getting better shots and then shooting over 50% from 3, which is like what the team did against the Heat.
And then when I see who we got for Grimes, when I see that guy take a fucking shot, and you see, it's like 5-on-4. They don't even guard him because his shot is awful. He shouldn't even be in the freaking league. How is he? He's a decent defender, but how the hell is he on a roster shooting like that? And we trade Grimes, and Grimes is averaging over 20 with Philadelphia, and we fucking trade that.
No, they were building up a roster of assets because they were going to go try to trade for Kevin Durant.
Oh God, just unbelievable, man! Just horrible mismanagement. And I was feeling really good about this team. I was actually thinking they might have a chance to beat. I know that OKC's lost 1 game, but it seemed that Kid might have had OKC's number. Remember
they played that's one.
When we played them last year,
we play them well, but we've not beat them in a while. They beat them. It's like they beat them last season 3 times. Weird games
without Luka. But yeah. So I thought that we just, but then we're missing Lively. Lively seems to do pretty well with them, and obviously PJ. Missing those 2 kind of stacked the deck. But the way they were playing, I thought maybe they could make it a game. And then it just
all downhill from there.
Yep.
It's all right though. Maybe see you tomorrow night if you watch the Rockets game. I'll be back here.
All right, buddy. Take care, man. Nice talking to you.
You too. Okay, this has been Kirk Henderson, Pod Maverick. I'm just going to post this all in one podcast. It's going to be After Dark and Group Therapy, even though it's about 50 minutes long now. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to support the show, you know the ways to do so. See you tomorrow night. Go Mavs.